Welcome to episode 77 of Oscar Sunday. I'm Austin Johnson.
I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
And today we are talking about the Jason Reitman directed Up in the Air from 2009, which received 6 nominations at the 82nd Academy Awards. Jason Reitman's, new Ghostbusters film is out in theaters now. Go check it out if you can. In honor of him, kind of an indie film god, before Ghostbusters, this guy, Thank You for Smoking and Up in the Air and Juno, just kind of a titan when it comes to the independent filmmaking. And we wanted to kind of, show some love. And Up in the Air is a movie that we both really like. And I've seen it quite a few times now. And every time I'm kind of more into it as I keep watching it, as I keep rewatching it. And just the performances are so good. The soundtrack is awesome. The score is awesome. Reitman's, adaptation of the novel of the same name is just really good, just spot on stuff. And I think it coming out in 2009, obviously, around 2008, 2009, our country was in a complete crisis. And I think this movie kind of pinpoints a certain time and place in our country's history. And I really respect it for that. So I wanted to kind of start us off with, where did you first see this and how do you feel about it now?
I first watched this, I think either earlier this year or late last year, as just another movie to knock off my Netflix list. And I'd heard for years that it was one of the best films Clooney's ever done. And I knew going in, I was going to enjoy it. And I did. I fucking loved it. My second watch was for this show.
Yeah.
And with the second watch, you really do start to, kind of feel more of the message. And so few films are anti-commitment.
Yeah.
And it's such a unique message. And like you said, dealing with the fallout of the housing crisis and all the people who were out of work. And the idea that somebody can be a professional firer, that their job is to ruin people's day, like for a living, and how you get like desensitized to that, how it becomes part of your like routine is really sad. That, it takes a certain lack of empathy and almost humanity to be okay with a job like that. And I like seeing Clooney kind of wake up from that. It's a really cool movie. It's definitely worth watching. It's really funny. It's really dramatic. I think this is a great movie.
Yeah. I'm with you. I read your review earlier today, and I know you give this movie like a 9. Like you're a big fan of it. Yeah, it's an 8 for me. It's just really solid, and I really want to read the book. The book, Jason Reitman definitely took liberties with time, and the book was written in 2001 or came out in 2001. And is just a different tone from what I've read. Again, he utilized where we were as a country in 2008, 2009, around that time, and implemented it into this novel, into this story, into this character, Ryan Bingham. He's just a fucking blast to watch. It probably is my favorite George Clooney role. I don't know. That's kind of tough. I'm not a huge fan of his. I think he's had a lot of just kind of duds, but I've also really enjoyed some of his stuff, Oceans, of course, and I really like him in The Descendants. Ides of March I really like him in, and in this one, I think he's fantastic in this. I'm not a super fan of Clooney like I am the other superstars like Brad Pitt and Leo,
George Clooney, or as Stan Smith of American Dad calls him, Cloontang. I've always had a soft spot for Clooney. He's one of my favorite actors. He brings this gravitas and this appreciation to almost every film he does, even the paycheck gigs, even in Batman and Robin, he adds something to that movie. And my all-time favorite is Oh Brother Where Art Thou? That's the greatest performance Clooney's
That's
ever
a great
given.
one. That's a great one.
He's a guy I would love to just talk about for hours. Like he's such a, he's the perfect hybrid of superstar and character actor that you just don't see. Brad Pitt's the same way. Leo, like these guys, they get voted sexiest man alive, but they also, win well-deserved Oscars. Like you don't see that in a lot of people. And I know, people think he's smug. People think he's full of shit. I get that. It's Hollywood. Everybody's smug and full of shit.
Yeah. That doesn't bother me at all. Yeah.
I like him a lot.
Yeah. I think that's a good call. I also, I'd be silly if I didn't mention, his work in Fantastic Mr. Fox. That vocal performance is fantastic. Burn After Reading, Cohen's one of the more underrated movies. He's really good in that. Fucking Michael Clayton from 2007. So I might be not giving him enough credit. I just don't. I don't think he quite meets that same level as some of those other A-listers. But maybe I'm wrong. Agree to disagree, which is rare for us. I think it's the recent stuff that I've had my issues. Like Money Monster, wasn't a big fan of that one. Tomorrowland, no thanks. The Monuments Men, not for me. I was really excited for that one. I just didn't really like it too much. I think it's and The American. I fucking hate that movie with a passion. I usually I understand if someone likes something and we differ. But The American, I'm like, no, man, that movie's just, I don't get it. I saw that in theaters and I was just like, what the fuck is this? Anyway, Clooney, we'll definitely be talking about him later. But 2009, Up in the Air. I want to, of course, do some sort of top five. And I think 2009 is a pretty kick-ass year. I think we both have some kind of all-time personal favorites within 2009. So I wanted to definitely do a top five with you to kind of open up this episode. So we're going to do that. We're going to do this nice and easy. You know the drill. We're going 5-1. I'll let you start and I'll finish us off. So what's your fifth favorite movie from 2009?
So my top five was very different 2 days ago. I looked through my films and thought, you know what? Some of these are longtime favorites in name only. And I've kind of stuck to them just almost because I've never really thought given a second thought to them. So I reevaluated and I changed it all around to accommodate films that I've always had an appreciation for, but never, a lot of people never really, include them in this discussion. So I wanted to, especially my 5 and 4, those two movies are way out of anybody's top 5. So I'm excited to do this.
Beautiful. Let's hear it.
Number 5 is one of my favorite Nicolas Cage movies. Knowing.
Fuck yes.
One of the creepiest end of the world movies I've ever seen. From beginning to end, that movie is on just on a different level at the edge of the fucking ocean. I don't know what it is about that movie, but the entire time I'm thinking this is too real. I don't know what it is. It's got one of the most the freakiest plane crash scenes I've ever seen. And it's just a very engaging, intriguing thriller that leads to a vicious conclusion. I urge y'all to check out Knowing. I don't want to spoil too much about it. It just involves a lot of numbers, a lot of death, and Nick Cage. So definitely check that out. I remember driving home from the theater after that with my grandpa, just kind of rethinking life, just thinking about Jesus Christ, what we take so much for granted. And it got under my skin and never left.
I love that. That's really cool. Yeah, no, I love that Nicky Cage, anytime he gets to get brought up, of course we love him here.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I've only seen that movie once and it's been a long time. So maybe I'll give it another spin. That's a cool kind of recommendation to give through the episode. My number 5 is the movie that's probably been here the longest. Well, this one and another one. There's 2 in my top 5 that have just been here and haven't left for basically since they came out. And that's Adventureland, directed by Greg Mottola, my man, the director of Superbad. There's not a lot of 1-2s like Superbad and Adventureland out there for a director. Adventureland is just dear to my heart. And me and my 2 older brothers quote it all the time when we're around each other. And it's one of those kind of staples in our relationship for pop culture. Soundtrack is fucking bonkers. It's got The Replacements and NXS and Lou Reed, just really, really cool stuff, and taught me a lot about that music. And that was when I really opened up my eyes to Lou Reed and Velvet Underground. And I was like, holy shit, what have I been missing? And I love the setting of it. I love the 80s, just kind of like sort of coming of age, but also they're all like past college, so they're just kind of like fucking meandering around and not really knowing what to do. So they work at this fucking theme park, this amusement park, and it's kind of like got carnival games and rides and stuff, and it's just one of those wacky places that's run by Bill Hader and Kristen Wiig, just two of the biggest SNL legends of all time, especially in 2009. And Jesse Eisenberg, not my favorite actor, but that movie and Social Network, he was one of my favorite actors for a time. And I always have such a blast with this movie. I can kind of put it on anytime, and I'm very happy when it's on. I'm very, very excited for each little bit. Like Lisa P is back. I love all that stuff. I love the conversations that they have about just what are we doing? We're in our early mid-20s, and we're just kind of here, and we're in this, they're in Pittsburgh, and it's just kind of like what's happening around us, and what can we do to kind of make our lives better, while also you can't sit in that. You have to do something. So they decide to work at Adventureland. And it's funny because I relate to that in a sense where, not, I wouldn't say now, but there was definitely a time or times where I worked at places like this, where it was just a bunch of young people like, what are we all doing? And so you fucking succumb to, alcohol and, drugs and stuff. And you're just, I don't know what else to do. So I really like this movie, and it's kind of always got a place in my heart. It was very hard to cut some movies. 2009 is deep for me. There's probably 20 movies that I really like, and probably 10 that I love. And that's just rare for one given year. And when I was looking at my Letterboxd, I was like, shit, man, I got a lot of 4 stars, a lot of 4.5ers, a lot of 5 stars. Like, shit, I love this year. So Adventureland's awesome. And I'll always kind of stand by it. That soundtrack is one of my favorites.
I remember Adventureland. One of the first things you wrote up for the website was kind of a retrospective on Adventureland. And I remember thinking, that's really cool. Like, none of us really ever thought to do anything like that. And it really showed your passion for this movie. It's one I definitely would like to revisit. I've only seen it once. And I remember just loving that Rock Me Amadeus was constantly playing throughout the park and driving everyone insane.
Yeah, Martin Starr and Jesse Eisenberg are they're fucking around. And yeah, Amadeus. And Martin Starr is like, you fucking sadist. he's so angry that this song keeps playing at the park. And then there's just a fucking killer scene with Judas Priest breaking the law playing. And that there's like a chase scene in the park. And Bill Hader has a baseball bat at one point. He's like, come on, you motherfuckers. He's just so amped up, and it's awesome. I think it's mostly that connection I have with like some of my friends, and mainly my 2 older brothers, where I'm just like they understand. Like, yeah, like we get it. This movie fucking rules.
Absolutely, man. You talked about cutting, and 2009, I didn't realize had some big films for me. Yeah. And the 3 I ended up cutting out, which was really difficult and kind of forging a new top 10, was Watchmen, Up, and Zombieland.
Okay. I thought you were going to name one there, but maybe it's going to show up here. So we'll see. Because there's one here that I was like, holy shit, I forgot this is 2009 and this movie fucking rules. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is one of the funniest British comedies I've ever seen.
Oh, yes. I already know.
In the Loop, 2009. Basically, yes. A British government member says some really stupid shit on the news that puts the spotlight on the wrong people and pushes the US and the UK further towards declaring war in the Middle East. And Malcolm Tucker, I guess, problem solver for the British government, has to kind of do damage control here. And he is the most foul-mouthed, ridiculous human being I've seen in years.
Yeah.
And it really endeared me to Peter Capaldi, who plays Malcolm Tucker, and Armando Iannucci, the writer-director who earned a screenplay nomination for this.
Yeah.
And it's based off a British TV show called The Thick of It, which I've seen a couple episodes of. It's just, it's so great. It's dry. It's hilarious. And this movie has one of my favorite insults I've ever heard. It's when Malcolm Tucker's walking through the streets of DC screaming, fucks on his phone. And this American tourist goes, "Hey, buddy, enough with the curse words, all right?" And he just goes, he looks at him like, "Who the fuck are you?" And says, "Kiss my sweaty balls, you fat fuck," and walks away. And I'm just like, I can't believe what this movie is insane. Everyone is just on fire the whole time. James Gandolfini plays a American general who's like, in a constant dick measuring contest with everybody. And it's just a brilliant, hilarious watch that you will not regret if you haven't seen this. You don't need to watch the show. I hadn't seen the show when I saw the movie and I loved it. So definitely worth a watch. Really funny.
Yeah. That's the best thing about In the Loop is that it doesn't cut you off from like gaining something out of it if you're just watching the film. Great shout. I didn't forget about this one because I was just, again, looking at my letterbox and I was like, oh yeah, here's another fucking 8. Here's another solid fucking movie. That's a really good call, man. I wasn't expecting that. I love it.
Hell yeah. I can, I'm like, since it has that screenplay nom, I want to do it on this show so bad.
Oh yeah, no, we will do it one day. I do, while I was watching Up in the Air, I was kind of like, I want to do more movies, not necessarily like Up in the Air, but more movies that are just fucking movies. They're not, whoa, look at this fucking Lord of the Rings. Whoa. Like they're just fucking movies that someone made with a passion and, and they're there and they're entertaining and they're dramatic at times. And, there's different types of stuff.
It doesn't always need to be Citizen Kane or Rocky or like these movies that change cinema. Sometimes it can just be, Peter Capaldi screaming obscenities at American tourists.
Yeah. Like when we did the In Bruges episode, I was like, this is just fun as fuck. This movie's just fucking fun. And yeah, I'm with you on that. In the Loop is definitely going to be on the show at some point. Good call. Oh man. You'll remember this one from my number 4 from my Criterion channel diary days where I was writing every month. I was logging what I watched on the Criterion channel because it just blew my mind that this was a place where all these movies were right here for me to see. And I'm just always excited when I get on that app and I'm like, oh my God, look at this new shit that they have. Like, for example, I just watched this movie from 1992 called Just Another Girl on the IRT. And it just fucking shattered me and ruined my night in the very best way. And I love when that happens, but I also love when I'm able to find a writer, director, in this case, brothers, who made a movie that I loved, like Good Time and Uncut Gems, and then I can go back and watch their old stuff. And this is Daddy Longlegs from 2009. Good Lord, Daddy Longlegs. It makes so much sense that they're at where they're at now. Watching their old stuff, like Lenny Cook, the documentary, just incredible stuff. And then Daddy Longlegs is written by both of them, Josh and Benny Safdie, and directed by both of them. And it was also Ronald Bronstein. He plays the main character, Lenny. He also helped write it. And it is just kind of like a kind of fucked up, little look into this dad who just doesn't have anything really going for him, and he's got to take care of his 2 sons, and he doesn't know what to do half the time, and he's fucking scheming and doing these little things, teaching them horrible habits while he's doing it. He's just trying, but he's trying. He's just trying. He's like, I don't know how to be a dad, so I'm going to do it my way. And it's filmed in such a way that you feel like you're watching someone film their own father. And so I feel like the Safdies maybe were like, okay, this is how our dad operated or something like that. Or they knew a dad like that. And it felt so authentic and so true to oneself. And I love when movies like that just kind of hit you at the right time. And, I watched this shortly after Uncut Gems kind of just, floored everyone. And I was like, holy shit, these guys have a catalog, it's not just this Adam Sandler movie. I had already seen Good Time. I love that one, but I took it to the next level with Daddy Longlegs and Lenny Cook on Criterion, and then watching videos of those 2 guys talk about movies is is everything I want. I really hope people try to go watch this one. It's super moving. It is a real weird pace to it. It's real choppy at times, and you kind of have to be in a certain mood, I think. But for me, I'm always in a mood for a movie that's just kind of feels like a handheld, look into someone's life, and I enjoy it a lot. So it's a movie that takes the place of a lot of movies I've been with, for fucking 12 years now.
Yeah.
But I like it. I like it that much. I have it as a 4.5 on Letterboxd. I would give it a 9. I just really, really respect it, and I've only seen it twice now, but I would like to own it and watch it more. It's awesome.
It is kind of weird having to look at a firm top 5 and think am I, obviously I'm not the same cinephile I was when I was 14. Things change, things, evolve, and you have to come to terms with that. You have to cut some darlings. It's weird, but it does kind of just reaffirm your stance as a diehard cinephile.
Yeah, and I think for me, and you know this more than anyone, I welcome that. I welcome adapting and changing my mind about, wait a minute, I do love these movies, and they hold a special place in my heart because I saw them when I was fucking 14 when they came out. But now, if I'm to watch the two movies back to back, I know which one I enjoy more as a cinephile, as a movie fan, as someone who just kind of consumes the shit out of this stuff. And I'm just being honest, I mean, I've seen Adventureland 50 times, seen Daddy Longlegs twice. I respect it more, and that's just how it is.
Fantastic. I've yet to see this. As far as the Safdie brothers are concerned, I'm still just in the Uncut Gems park. I haven't seen the rest of their work. I'm going to, I promise.
Yeah, they're the best, man. I love those guys. They're so cool too. They just love fucking movies. They're just obsessed.
But speaking of Criterion, I subscribed to them on YouTube recently because I've discovered the Closet Picks.
Yeah, dude. Oh my God, that shit is crazy. Watching people go in there and you're like, I want to.
I know. I have a new life goal, which is to write a movie that is fantastic, gets all sorts of awards, so that I get invited into that closet.
Oh, dude, I get chills with anyone who walks in there, especially I think I pointed this out. The Michael K. Williams video of him going into the closet is a must see. It's 2 minutes of just genius stuff, and he's so excited to be in there. So excited to grab movies off the shelf and be like, oh, look at this, Charlie Chaplin, he's the man, and he's Dazed and Confused. You have to have this if you like movies. You got to have this, and it's cool. It's just cool to see them on that fan level. I adore that. I know I've tagged you a ton of times in different videos on Instagram of people going in that closet because it's overwhelming. I don't know if I could go in there without having, just crying. I'd just lose my mind.
Well, I think it was, who was it? Was it William Friedkin who said the history of world cinema is in this closet? And I was like, fuck, that's incredibly profound. These guys have been just, preserving stuff that no one else has thought to preserve. And that is miraculous.
Yeah.
I have the utmost respect for the Criterion Collection for what they do. And it was so satisfying to see directors and actors who respect that even more than I do. And to just see what they love, the movies that created them. I mean, that is fucking amazing.
Yeah, and then occasionally you'll be like, I've seen that. Yeah. Fuck yeah, they like that too. Kelly Reichardt likes that movie. Let's go. Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy the Criterion channel exists and the collection exists, and I'm very happy that it only cost $11 to be a part of that incredible library of films. It's just crazy, and I love their format. I love the interface. I love everything about it. So I've always, I've got another movie that's from Criterion on my list. I just I think HBO Max and Netflix and these things are great. They're great to have, especially HBO Max, because they take a lot of Criterion stuff. But if you're really a cinephile, I feel like you really eat this stuff up. You kind of need it. I also want to, got to give a shout out to Arrow. They do amazing stuff as well. You gotta sign up for one of those. It's important.
Yeah. I mean, if you're really serious about this stuff, you got to go after the very best. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, and I don't want to put down anybody who's not into that stuff. I get it. If you just like watching, if you just want to, sit down and watch Marvel movies, nothing wrong with that. I do that shit all the time.
Not at all. Disney Plus has a great catalog as well. That's just, I think if you want to, like you said, if you want to see the great stuff that's, the Fellini and Agnes Varda, those kind of people, and Jean-Luc Godard, those, you should give it a go, and this is the best way to do it.
Yeah. If you want to get to the Emerald City, you got to follow the Yellow Brick Road.
There you go. I love it. I love it, man. What's your number 3? This is fun.
My number 3 is the movie we are talking about today, Up in the Air.
Hell yeah. I was hoping it would show up on one of our lists. It's not on mine, but God, I love it.
We're going to obviously get into this, but this movie is hilarious, inspiring in a weird way, super sad, and just a gem that showed me Jason Reitman is somebody to watch out for. And like, since then I've watched, I went and saw Ghostbusters Afterlife. I watched Juno, and this guy is just a deer. I love his directing style. I love his he's a legacy. And I'm sure he's going to be doing a lot more in the future.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, definitely going to be talking a lot about Up in the Air, and I'm super excited to kind of dive into the 82nd Academy Awards, look at those 6 nominations, and then give our own awards out to that movie, because it's just got a lot of cool stuff going on. Oh yeah,
big time. What is your 3?
My number 3 is the another Criterion movie, a movie I watched through that channel like a year ago. No, more than that. Like a year and a half ago, I would say. It was when I was finally deciding to go through Yorgos Lanthimos catalog, go through all of his stuff, and Dogtooth.
I knew this was going to show up. I knew this was going to be here.
I love Dogtooth. Dogtooth is a fucked movie. Very fucked. If you like The Lobster, if you like The Favorite, Killing of a Sacred Deer, what else? I guess that, Alps. You got to see Dogtooth. I think it represents Yorgos in the very best way. Just so dark, so dark, and it's early in his run. He does Canetta in 2005. I don't really love that movie, but I respect it. I like some of the directing style. But Dogtooth, I think, is where he figures out, all right, like I'm gonna kind of stick in this lane. I'm going to make very bizarre, strange movies with like crazy performances. Get the most commitment out of my actors. And he hasn't really looked back. I love his resume. I don't know which one's my favorite though. Like I really respect them all. It might be Dogtooth. I might need to watch it again. I don't know. That was an experience watching Dogtooth. I watched it like at 1 a.m. as by myself, and I was like, wow. It was one of those moments where like, what am I doing? What am I doing? And then something happens and you're like, oh, that's why, because I respond to this really weird, bizarre shit. So I really don't want to give away too much about Dogtooth. I think it's one of those that people have to be floored by, you kind of got to go into it and just, all right, see what happens. But it's about a fucked up family, as you'd expect from Yorgos Lanthimos.
After The Favorite, Yorgos is a guy that you convinced me to look into. And I enjoyed The Lobster. I enjoyed The Killing of a Sacred Deer. But Dogtooth was too much for me. It was way too fucked up to enjoy, in my opinion. It was just like, I couldn't get behind this like horrific situation and the visuals. And just, again, I won't spoil it on your behalf, but be prepared. This is not your average family drama. This is something that you can only get away with in Europe. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. Just, some of the stuff, if you watch it out of context, you're like, wait, what? Some of the dialogue, the screenplay is fucking bonkers. Like the son, when he's like, Mom, I found two little zombies. It's like talking about something completely different because they realign the whole language, and it's just so fucking weird. And it is an acquired taste, but you do either way, you have to go into it just, I don't know what's happening, and you'll have more fun that way.
If you say so.
Oh God, so good. I'm just thinking about that scene where the oldest daughter is like, Mom, what's a cunt?
Oh boy.
Yeah, just great stuff. Love it. Awesome stuff. So Dogtooth, Yorgos is the man. I can't wait to see where he goes, keeps going from here, right? He's one of those kind of prestige directors who's like, I don't watch my work, I just do it. He's one of those fuckers, and I usually love those guys. They're just so wacky and so committed to their personality and their individuality. I respect them for it. So what's your number two?
My number two is a film that back in 2009 I never ever would have thought I would love so much. I had zero interest in this franchise until I saw this movie. And while my fandom isn't huge, I haven't seen a good chunk of it. I do appreciate the foundations, and something about this film I think resonates with anybody who knows Star Trek.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to see it in 2009. I didn't give a shit about Star Trek. I'd never seen anything. I knew I knew Kirk, Spock, Starship Enterprise. That's all I knew. And I ended up seeing this with my mom and one of her work friends and his kids. And at first I was just like, okay, Star Trek is 2 hours plus. Great. Wonderful. And then I was drawn in a heartbeat. I was like, this is exciting. This is cool. I, even not knowing like the source material that well, there's certain moments in this movie that you can't help but smile at and have butterflies. Like when we see the Enterprise for the first time, when Leonard Nimoy shows up as Spock, you get like, you just understand the gravity. And it's crazy. I've never had that happen before, where I've jumped into a franchise that late and felt like I'd been there since the beginning. It was such a strange, bizarre feeling. And since then I've had a whole new appreciation for Star Trek. I wouldn't consider myself a Trekkie, but I do enjoy it. And this is my favorite of the entire franchise. It's a hardcore 10. It's a fun watch anytime, and I just adore it.
Fantastic. That's crazy. I knew you liked. I think we've talked about this. I had no idea it would be in this top five. It's a good movie. Just standalone. It's a good movie. Yeah, it's very entertaining, and like you said, it's got some just like breathtaking shots. And yeah, I may have to revisit that one just to kind of give it another whirl. And that's one of my favorite things about these top fives is I'll just kind of get re-interested in something because I'm like, oh fuck, well I like Connor's opinion, so I might as well check that out again. I know it's got a big fan club. There's people who really 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 love this movie, and I'm happy to hear that you're a part of that group, and very cool. My number two, I have a feeling is your number one. Just got a slight hunch because it's probably the best movie from 2009 and probably Quentin Tarantino's best movie overall, and that's Inglourious Bastards. just a through and through masterpiece. My God, like I really do think it might be his best movie overall. I think his catalog is obviously one of my favorites. I really respect what he's done. And, our very first episode ever on this show is Pulp Fiction. But I think Bastards is just the strongest. I think it's like the apex of Tarantino. It's when he, I think, kind of realized, okay, I can please everyone here. I can be really fucked, really fucked up. I can also take a setting like World War II that everybody knows about, and I can give it this whole spin that's wicked entertaining, wicked dark, but also people are just gonna like. I think Dogs and Pulp and Jackie Brown and Kill Bill. I think there's people who are just like, nah, I'm good. I kind of get that. I kind of get it. But Bastards, I don't know if you have a pulse if you're not like, oh, that was fucking amazing, you know? And I know you know, we both see it as a 10. It is a 10. It's just amazing. And I love how in the movie Brad Pitt says, "This is my masterpiece." You know, it's really cool. It's kind of telling. I don't know if he's ever gonna top that movie. Django's real good. Hateful Eight's real good. I love Once Upon a Time, but Bastards might have been kind of the middle of his prime where he just was like the best filmmaker in the world kind of thing. And I don't really know what else I could say about it. It's going to be an episode on this one day. It just will. It's going to happen. We're just kind of biding our time, you know, because we don't, you know, we love Tarantino. We don't want to like always do his movies. So with doing that, we've only done one, you know, and that's just how we both feel. We want to cover a bunch of different filmmakers, a bunch of different writers, different actors and different actresses. And he's just the man, you know? So it's your number one, right?
Yeah, you're right. It is.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah. I know you.
Yeah. This was the only one that wasn't budging. Like everything else was kind of up in the air, but
Yeah.
this was firm. This has been firm since 2009. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's the first Tarantino I saw in theaters, and blew my mind from day one.
Same.
Like, what?
Same.
Yeah. It's insane. It's a masterpiece. It's endlessly rewatchable. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes that fly by.
Yeah.
It's loaded with incredible performances. It's the first time I saw Michael Fassbender. It introduced America to Christoph Waltz, who plays the most evil, brilliant character that Tarantino's ever written.
Yeah, I think Hans Landa might be his greatest feat in characters. Good Lord. And probably the best opening of any of his movies is that opening. Au revoir, Shoshana. Like that's just like lightning in a bottle. That whole opening bit is just perfection.
It's brilliant. It tells you everything you need to know about Landa. You know, the milk. It's so unsettling the whole time. And you know, just from the beginning, he knows exactly what's going on there. He knows that the Jewish people are under the floorboards. He is just fucking with him the entire time because he gets off on it. And he does that to everybody the entire movie. He knows exactly what's going on the entire time, but he loves playing games with people. It's so sadistic. That's great. My favorite scene by far is the basement bar with the major who figures out the fucked up accents. The whole scene's in French and German, and it has this realism and this incredible tension that just goes off. It's so fucking great. I could watch just that scene over and over again. Yeah. Nothing's gonna top Bastards. I just my favorite Tarantino, like his masterpiece. My opinion of, my answer to that question fluctuates daily, but Bastards is always right there. I think it is. I won't say undisputed. It's definitely disputed, but it's a contender. And I will sing this film's praises forever. It's one of my absolute favorites. Right on.
Yeah. Just, if you haven't seen Bastards in a while, go fucking check it out.
Yeah.
It's great. It's really amazing. And Brad Pitt, for all the wonderful things he's done, Aldo Rain is kind of at the top of the list. I know Cliff Booth is the more recent one that's gotten a lot of love, but Aldo is where, this is where it really started for him with Quentin. So it's very cool. Well, I guess True Romance would really be where
Floyd.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets Floyd.
Yeah, I don't. I fucking love that character. Don't condescend me, man. Yeah. No, it's great stuff. It will get its own episode at some point on this show, just a matter of time. Well, my number one is just as predictable as your number one, I think, for you and I. That's, comes from the motherfucking Coen brothers. A Serious Man.
Yeah.
Just my favorite movie of theirs, along with Lebowski and No Country for Old Men. I love those three. It's like a three-headed monster in my mind of like, look what all the fucking, all the shit we can do with filmmaking. We're the masters when it comes to two brothers just kind of crushing it over and over and over. A Serious Man I think it takes a couple watches. I think, Bastards, it doesn't take much time to realize, oh my God, I'm watching some of the best stuff I've ever seen. But A Serious Man, I think, really takes a couple goes, takes a couple stabs, and you're like, oh, okay, this is really fucking clever. This is really good. And I like when a director, in this case, two directors, can utilize an actor like Michael Stuhlbarg, like what? We've never seen that before from them. We all know the dude. We all know, fucking High from Raising Arizona. We know Anton from No Country, but like this, Larry Gopnik is just such a unique fucking character. And I know that they've always fucked with kind of the Midwest and just kind of like, well, I don't know what's going on. But Gopnik is like this genius inside of this movie, and things are kind of crumbling around him, and I adore pretty much every second of it. It's another one, I'd say, along with Adventureland, these two I can just kind of put on at any given moment, and I'm kind of in at peace. I'm Austin. I'm comfortable right now. This is what I do. This is the movies I watch. These are movies that I call my own type thing, and I kind of stand by it no matter what. I think the Coens have one of the richest filmographies in American, cinematic history, and A Serious Man, I think, is the one that gets lost. And I don't quite understand that. If you give it a couple goes, you just start falling in love with kind of the simplicity of it. At the same time, some of the complexity of some of those questions, those deep questions of just what the fuck is the point of all this stuff. And I really, really enjoy it. Really enjoy the performances. Richard Kind knocks it out of the park. I really like what he's doing. And then you got a bunch of just normal people in the movie. In fact, it was filmed in Minnesota, and my brother, one of my older brothers, lives in Minnesota right now and has lived there for like 10 years. And his girlfriend knows this guy who was an extra in A Serious Man back when he was a kid in school. It's towards the end of the film, the big like wow ending. And he was at that school standing outside during that storm, and he signed my A Serious Man copy, that guy. He's just a fucking, random extra kid in the movie. And he signed it, and he was like, anybody who's a friend of Jeremy's, my brother, is a friend of mine. And he's like, I'm glad you like the movie. I don't like it. I fucking love it. So I love that part of it, that there's these just non-actors all kind of all over the place, but it just does something that just gets kind of into my heart. And I really respect it for that. It's been my number one for a few years now. This and Bastards, very, very different movies, very kind of polar opposite type movies. But I respond to this one so much. Do I think it's better than Bastards? Nah, not really. But for me, like in my mind, in my world, it just kind of affects me more. And I always kind of respond to that. I don't let that deter me from choosing it at a number one spot in a top five. It's all about individuality, your passion, let that shine through. And A Serious Man is as passionate as I can get about a movie. I love it so much. This is fun. I love doing these. They're so great. So no Half-Blood Prince. Holy shit, dude. I was really thinking, I was like, Connor's going to throw, because that might be the best Harry Potter movie. And I think Connor, oh, no.
No, I disagree with that big time.
Wow. I think that has probably the biggest, there's only one part in that whole series that like made me cry. And it's of course inside Half-Blood Prince.
All right. Half-Blood Prince is a good movie, but it carves so much out of the book. Like 90%.
It has to, dude. It has.
But we lose so much. We lose the whole point of the Half-Blood Prince. We lose Voldemort's origin story. We lose Harry and Ginny's relationship developing in a realistic way.
Yeah.
it's just, I like it, but it's the bare minimum. And that really hurts. So Order of the Phoenix and Half-Blood Prince have a little bit of a black mark for that in my mind.
Interesting. I'm not a huge fan of Order. I think Azkaban's always will be and always has been my favorite. Those first two are just like they're so young. They're so young, and some of the acting is so bad at times.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to roll with the punches.
Yeah.
But Goblet's awesome. It's got some great moments. Kill the spare. That shit's great. And the last two I enjoy, but I think Half-Blood has just got this edge to it that I fucking dig. It's fucking Snape, dude. Snape is lights out in that one.
I will say the scenes it did beautifully. I mean, it adapted like what you need to move the story forward. It had. Okay. I just as a longtime fan of the big fan of the books, I wanted more. But I am realistic. Yeah. If it was the book, it would have been a 6.5 hour movie.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And also I read the books after watching the movie. So I'm one of those weirdos who didn't read the books till I was like 20 years old. So and I enjoyed the shit out of them. But and the movies, actually this is the only one I saw. Half-Blood's the only one I saw in theaters. I was not into Harry Potter as a teenager, like at all. I didn't really get it. I didn't really understand the fandom behind all of it. I was kind of confused. Like, why is this so fucking huge? And then one of my good friends who's like got Harry Potter tattoos and shit, he was like, let's watch them again. Let's go through them properly and watch all of them. And I did. I sat over like a whole weekend. Me and him just like got a bunch of snacks, bunch of fucking soda, and we just hung out and stayed up all night watching these movies over a weekend. And I was like, damn, these are pretty tight, dude. I dig these. They're fucking entertaining. And I really dig the journey that you get to go on with those characters. How about, you mentioned Up earlier. That one's tough to leave out. I really like District 9. Fuck, that movie's really good. Drag Me to Hell. I fucking love Drag Me to Hell.
That one was hard to cut.
Yeah. I also had a hard time cutting that one. I'm a huge fan of Pirate Radio. Oh my God, that movie's so fun.
Forgot about Pirate Radio.
Another British one that I love is The Damned United, about a soccer manager. Great stuff. I love Michael Mann's Public Enemies. I know some people are not into that one, but God, I think that movie's great. I love 2009. I think it's loaded. And then there's like random movies like you mentioned Zombieland. That one's fun as shit. I think Polytechnique, Denis Villeneuve's movie, is like wicked dark and a crazy experience. I love Jennifer's Body. I love funny people. This year's awesome.
I'd like to shout out Angels and Demons.
Yep. There you go. There's another one.
Divisive film. The Christians pretty much just destroyed it in the reviews. How dare they make a movie about God being anything less than perfect? But yeah, Angels and Demons has such a cool story and such a great twist and awesome characters and takes you deep into the Vatican. How do you not just enjoy that? Yeah. It's Tom Hanks solving a murder mystery and possibly a terrorist attack. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Have a heart.
Yeah. Have some fun. Put your walls down. Yeah. Yeah. I love it, man. I think we could do this forever, and just could make a top 20 and we'd have fun with it. It's so much fun looking at these years, especially when we were teenagers and you have those connections to movies you saw in theaters or you saw right after they came out. And then you have movies in between that 12 years of life that you grew attached to. And it's always a blast doing these top fives. And they're always going to be here. You and I are doing these all the time and kind of take the episode and pick something that's attached or actor, director, actress, whatever it is, and just kind of run with it. So expect these always. Next week, we might even do another one. We'll see, with a pretty big time director. We'll see. Yeah. I do want to, talk about Up in the Air and is your number 3, right? Let's recap real quick before we move on to Up in the Air. Go ahead.
Number 5, Knowing. Number 4, In the Loop. Number 3, Up in the Air. Number 2, Star Trek. And number 1, Inglourious Bastards.
Beautiful. Number 5 is Adventureland. Number 4, Daddy Longlegs. Number 3, Dogtooth. 2, Bastards. And number 1, Serious Man. Up in the Air was very close to making the cut. It's really good movie. Jason Reitman. Let's start with him. Oh boy, this guy. It's cool to see a guy get rewarded with something like Ghostbusters after just putting in fucking work, and since 2005, Thank You for Smoking, since then he's been just kind of at it and chipping away, and I think he really got his big break here. And from what I've heard, people are really enjoying this movie, and I know you enjoyed it, the new Ghostbusters. So very cool. He's an Oscar-nominated guy. He's someone who I think is going to just be around for a long time. If he's doing movies in his 30s that are like up in the air, where it's like, whoa, mind fuck. Think about what he's going to be doing in his 50s, 60s. It's just really cool.
Oh, it's fantastic. I love getting to see these I won't say up and comers, but like our generation of auteurs, our Scorseses, our, fucking Brian De Palmas, our Coppolas, and then getting to experience their career in real time is a fucking treat.
Yeah, 100%. And then I know you went back and watched Juno, which he was nominated for Best Director. Up in the Air, he got Adapted Screenplay nomination, Directing nomination, and Best Picture nomination, as he was an executive producer on the movie. Pretty cool. Juno, awesome, right?
I love Juno. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Michael Cera, that guy just continues to amaze me. He's doing a lot of really strange stuff now, does a lot of stuff on the stage these days, and has kind of challenged himself that way. But a freak cinephile, like a freaky cinephile. And if you listen to him talk about movies, you're like, I don't know anything. He's just got this like boundless knowledge, and he clearly spends so much of his time just seeking things out. And that's something I love to see. And then going back and watching, Juno and Superbad and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, and you're like, that guy? Fuck yeah. So cool.
Yeah. I was very impressed. I didn't know anything about Juno. I knew that Elliot Page was pregnant, and that's it. Like, I knew nothing about the story itself. And I was very impressed with the way it treats pregnancy as not like a life sentence, but as, a decision to make. And how there are options, you can give the baby up for adoption, and no, it's never treated as like a negative thing, or like nobody's ever, looked down upon for making that choice. And we need more movies like that, more movies that provide, a positive look on a situation that may not be ideal. And the supporting cast is just brilliant. I love J.K. Simmons in anything he does, and just him as this, supportive father who wants to say some shit but never quite does.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, JK, as you get older, you just realize this guy's like simply one of the best character actors we've ever had.
Oh, he's the bomb. I'm very glad I decided to watch Juno. It's one of those, modern kind of indie classics that I should have seen by now. So I'm glad it's under my belt now.
There you go. Yeah, I love it. Now, yeah, of course, at some point it's going to come up again on a different episode. And, now you'll really be able to dig into it. Maybe we'll do an episode on it one day. I would love to. Reitman's the man. I think we're going to be seeing more Oscar stuff as he continues through his career. But this guy, who we talked about at the top of the show, George Clooney, he's no fucking slouch when it comes to Oscars. He was nominated for original screenplay, Good Night and Good Luck, directing, Good Night and Good Luck, won for best actor in a supporting role for Syriana, was nominated for best actor in a lead role for Michael Clayton, nominated again for best actor in a lead role for Up in the Air, adapted screenplay for The Ides of March nomination, another nomination for best actor in a lead role, The Descendants, and then he is a part winner for the best picture win for Argo, because he was a producer on that movie. Just stellar stuff. Like, this guy's an absolute superstar and one of the most recognizable names. Again, I want to see him do some more stuff now that we're into the 2020s. I want to see him kind of get that 2000s juice flowing again. I think Good Night and Good Luck, Syriana, Michael Clayton, like Up in the Air. Fuck yeah. I want to see more of that as he continues through his career. He's, obviously a guy who's like super easy to watch. He's one of those just kind of got the superstar look. He's got the superstar fucking salt and pepper hair. He's Clooney. There's no two ways about it, and it's one of the more impressive resumes for an actor / writer / director of our generation. He's I like him and Ben Affleck, are kind of two names that I think are just, they've kind of done everything. They've kind of accomplished everything. And they're, where do you go from there? And Clooney's in that zone.
Funny that you compare him to Ben Affleck, considering they both were Batman.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Christian Bale to suddenly, direct and produce a bunch of shit.
I doubt it.
Pattinson, though, down the road, he'll do
it. Bale is too good at acting to ever not be just doing that. Like he's such a freak of nature. He's in a world of his own, Bale. Like, good God.
Like one day he's gonna bulk up for like another fat role and not be able to lose it because he's fucked his body up too much, and he's just gonna be trapped. But yeah, Clooney, I've already said, he's the man. I've definitely got a lot of homework to do. I have not seen Syriana, Michael Clayton, or The Ides of March. I got to sit down and watch those movies. But he's the man. Did you catch The Midnight Sky from last year?
No, never saw it.
Better than I expected.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear.
Worth a watch. He did a great job.
Awesome. That's good. Yeah. That's good to know. That's good to know that he's on a decent track. Yeah.
I think it's impressive that Batman and Robin didn't completely torpedo any hope he had of a film career.
he's like too good looking, too unique, to let anything kind of hold him back. And then being in Oceans, Danny fucking Ocean, like that changes the game for him.
Well, I think also Batman and Robin gave him a big old dose of humility where he realized this is fragile and always changing, and he can lose this at any moment. So yeah, I think since then he hasn't taken anything for granted, which is good.
That's a good point. I like that. Kind of his trajectory has changed because of that experience, and that's always good. That like you said, that could either break you or kind of make you. So very cool. These next two women, Vera Farmiga and Anna Kendrick, both they only have one nomination, and it's for Up in the Air. But Anna Kendrick's kind of like a superstar. She's been in so many different kinds of movies and is very recognizable, and she's got a lot of fans because she's done certain movies. Do I wish she had made different decisions throughout the 2010s? Yes, of course. But Vera Farmiga is like a horror hero to me. I love what she's done with her career. I love the kind of challenges she's taken on, and I'm a huge, huge fan of hers, and I love both of them in this movie.
Yeah, they're both fantastic, kind of playing like, past and future. Like, this is like Anna Kendrick is Vera Farmiga, like when she started, and Vera Farmiga is Anna Kendrick after she's been just disillusioned.
Yes.
It's great. And they play off each other fantastic. I love Anna Kendrick kind of starting out as this uptight, I know everything kind of young office worker, and Clooney having to show her like, actually, you don't know dick, and teaching her how the world really works in their job. And I just love that. Their back and forth is fucking brilliant. And then Vera Farmiga, God, you like her so much until the fucking reveal, and you just hate her so much. Yeah. You're just like, you don't tell the man you have a family. That never comes up. Oh, yeah. God. But then also it's on Ryan for falling into that trap, constantly saying, I will never be tied down, and then falling for someone who's unattainable. So who's really at fault here? Vera Farmiga, yeah. She's at fault.
Yeah, I think so. I think that, the writing's on the wall right at the beginning when they're taking out their cards out of their wallet, and they're like, and she says like, we're impressed by status. I think they kind of pinpoint it right there. Those two characters are like, we know what this is, and it's not going outside of this. But he's like, he becomes hopeful. He becomes like, oh my God, like I really like spending time with her. but he clearly has never had to actually ask those really tough questions to anyone. So he doesn't know how. He's not trained to be like, wait, are you in a relationship with somebody else? Are you, do you have a life outside of this? He never asks those really hard questions. He just assumes she's going to like me so much because, that's what we've been doing. And they're both at fault, but she's really at fault. Like he doesn't have a family. Like he doesn't have a marriage. He doesn't have children. Like you just don't do that shit when you have your loyalty should be set to a specific person and your kids. So yeah, she's majorly at fault to me, just as a human being. I know we all have, flaws and whatnot, but there's no forgiving that, when you turn on your husband and you're doing this nonstop while you're traveling for a job and you're calling it a parentheses. Like that's so egotistical and so fucked up and such like a primal, like, oh, I need this, so I'm just going to do it while I'm here and not worry about it the rest of the time. It's just really fucked. It's a great character study, this movie.
Well, he's constantly, we see throughout the movie just how vain he is. I mean, the only reason he's attracted to her is that she's him.
With the vagina.
Exactly. I love that line. But he just assumes that because she's so similar to him, she doesn't have a home. She doesn't have anything tying her down either. This is her life. He just assumes that. And it fucks him. But also, if she was never willing to actually treat this as a real relationship, she never, ever should have accepted the invite to his sister's wedding. That was wrong.
That was bonkers. And they go to to his old high school and they make out next to like the gym and stuff. Fuck off, dude. Like it's really crazy. The like lengths she goes to just to be like in an escape. Like, wait, what? I don't know. But Farmiga is so good in this movie. And I kind of wonder, like, she's got this in her, does she just need the right screenplay, the right direction to just kind of go through the roof? Because I don't think she's quite topped this since.
Well, Conjuring pays the bills, man.
Yeah, straight up horror pays the bills. That's the truth.
Yeah, it's a shame, but she does have it, and we've seen, like The Departed, like we've seen her hold her own with, like, even in The Many Saints of Newark, she's one of the standouts as Livia Soprano. So she's a fantastic actress. I think she just, maybe a little variety would be nice.
Yeah. I like her a lot. I also love her in the Netflix little mini series, When They See Us. She's like incredible in that, and it has this whole wild hairdo, and check that out if you haven't seen it. It's awesome. Next up, we got two more actors to talk about who are both just stellar, and then we'll talk about the costume designer for a little bit. J.K. Simmons, one of the most pure and undisputed supporting actor wins of all time for Whiplash. To me, it's probably the best one I've ever seen. Best supporting win I've ever seen. He's just fucking unreal in that movie. And like you said, in Juno, in fucking Spider-Man, he's consistently been doing this for like 20 years. Like, oh my God, this guy's amazing. He kind of lives in this world, however long it is, and he's there. He just doesn't leave. He's so committed. And his scene in Up in the Air is fucking amazing. Oh my God. A lot of these people are real life people who got fired, right?
Yeah.
Not him. He's like 100% acting, and it's lights out.
Bob. Yeah. Just constantly telling Anna Kendrick, like, a very good point, like, go fuck yourself. You don't know my life. You clearly don't care. You're reading off a script. And then Clooney just swooping in there with the save. It's great. It's like it's a fucking layup. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Yep.
And it works. Bob just is like, you know what? It's not worth fighting. Like, this is going to happen. Might as well just deal with it. And we never see him again. It's just a one-off quick scene that works because JK is the fucking best.
God, he's so good.
I feel like I see him in like every third or fourth movie I watch. he's always there.
And TV. He's like in a lot of random ass TV shows. And I just, love this guy.
Yeah, I cannot wait to just keep going. He's one of those guys I always look forward to seeing. And I know I'm going to see, how many credits does he have here? 214. I'm nowhere near done.
Yeah. Bang. He's also like willing to do commercials.
Yeah.
Like the guy clearly is just like, oh, something was offered to me. Let's fucking do it. They want me. Let's fucking do it. Beautiful.
He is my favorite part of the Spider-Man franchise.
Yeah. Him and Willem Dafoe. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, just, yeah. I love it. I've quoted it too much. I'll move on.
Crap, double crap.
Do you hear me? You're fired. Hey, we need a page 1. Oh yeah. You're unfired. I need you. Get over here.
Yeah. His hair, his mustache. Yeah. Just pristine. Where do you stand on his role in Whiplash? Is that like, where is that ranked for supporting actor wins?
It's at the top. That movie's
like top 3. Yeah.
I can't watch that movie like without, if I try to like put it on and like read a book or like look at my phone or something, it's not going to happen. I'm going to get sucked in, and this is now what I'm doing. This is an amazing movie and one of the most mesmerizing and just terrifying performances of all time. And I'm so glad he won. He won like everything for that. And I'm thankful for that win. I'm glad we have that performance to be just part of our lives. It's phenomenal.
Yeah. Great stuff. Whiplash. I think that was episode 8 on this show, like way back. And we were just so excited. We're like, Whiplash. Like, this movie's perfect. I love it so much. I really wish it would have won Best Picture, but that's okay. Next guy, another like Titan, and a guy who's been around for a long time. That's Mr. Sam Elliott. Got the most unique voice maybe ever in Hollywood. You know exactly. Same with JK. You know exactly who you're watching, even if your eyes are closed. You're like, oh, that's fucking Sam Elliott, dude. You can't mistake it, And he was nominated for. He's only been nominated once in his long, illustrious career. That was for supporting actor in A Star Is Born, 2018. And that movie, I like that movie a lot. I don't love it. I like it a lot though, and I really like what him and Cooper are doing. Specifically, that scene when Bradley Cooper gets back from rehab and Sam Elliott drops him off, and that's when Cooper just admits, like, "Hey, I wasn't trying to emulate Dad. I was trying to emulate you." And he closes the door, and Sam Elliott fucking like he would. He fucking grabs the headrest to the passenger seat and fucking looks back at the camera and starts putting the car in reverse. And you're like, oh my God, just fucking melt to the floor type stuff. Like, it's just one of the best fucking scenes, like short scenes I've ever encountered. And he's so goddamn good in that movie. I love Sam Elliott. Anytime he pops up, you know it's gonna be a fun little scene, or it's gonna be a really tough scene, gritty type scene. And I love that about a guy with that kind of gravitas, where you're just suckered in by simply his voice, his facial hair, and kind of the leathery skin he has. You're like, oh, this guy fucking rules.
I've always liked Sam Elliott, but I didn't know he had that kind of dramatic range when I saw A Star Is Born. I was not expecting him to almost steal the show. I mean, Jesus Christ, his role, that bit where he just starts like stifling sobs. You got to be heartless to not feel something there. I really wanted him to win this. I thought he had it. Mahershala Ali ended up taking it for Green Book, I believe. Yeah. And Moonlight, yes. Green Book, I don't know. But Sam Elliott should have taken that Oscar, and that would have just been really cool. Like a lifetime of bit parts kind of, rewarded almost. It would have been really cool. But, he's known mostly, I think, from our generation as the cowboy in The Big Lebowski.
Yeah, the stranger. Yeah. Yeah.
You have to use so many cuss words. Yeah. What the fuck you talking about?
Yeah. I got to say, I like your style, dude. It's so
some
cool.
Kind of Eastern thing. My God.
Perfect touch in that movie in Lebowski. Every touch is perfect, but that one especially is, putting Sam Elliott in there with the hat on and drinking at the bar, just money. I love it so much. He's awesome. That's what a unique cast. Clooney, Farmiga, Kendrick, Simmons, and Elliot. Like, it's just like, what the fuck? Yeah, recipe for fucking gold.
And those are just the Oscar-nominated people. I mean, we've got Jason Bateman, we've got Zach Galifianakis, we've got Danny McBride. Yep. Like,
yeah, Zach Galifianakis. Oh my god. Oh, I love it so much. So great. There's only one kind of crew member that we're going to bring up here that's been Oscar nominated. That's Danny Glicker, who is the costume designer. He was nominated in 2008 for Milk costume design. So, Milk's a fucking amazing movie. I really want to do it on the show one day. I love the performances in that movie. And costume design is one of those categories that, of course isn't, super, doesn't have a lot of anticipation, but you can find some unique stuff, and you can kind of see what someone's taste is, the costume designer specifically, and how they kind of influence the movie that way. And I think typically, we think of costume design for, like period pieces and stuff like that. But when you can do something like Up in the Air, and this was up for, it was nominated for a Costume Designers Guild. I think the costume design in Up in the Air is like underrated, and I think that kind of a touch and that kind of like what Danny McBride's wearing, like fucking hell, man. And all the people in the different offices that we go to through St. Louis and Detroit, I really like all those little touches. It's not always just these big extravagant costumes. Sometimes it's just fucking clothing. And I like that about a movie, and always makes me want to rewatch Milk whenever I see something about it. So I love that movie.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love Milk. That movie, when I remember watching that in I think it was my junior year of my undergrad, and just being absolutely floored. I didn't expect it. I didn't know anything about Harvey Milk, and learning about him with that movie was just incredible. I was moved. I was infuriated. Brilliant film.
Yeah, great stuff. It will come up here one day. That's Gus Van Sant. I'd love to just kind of talk about him. His career is so interesting. Can't believe that's the guy behind the Psycho remake. What the fuck?
On sneak preview last week, Caleb and I did our top 10 worst remakes, and Psycho was on mine. And I looked into it, and it was just Gus Van Sant said, "I'm taking one for the team. I'm doing this so no one has to." And I remember thinking, nobody asked you to do this, Gus. You don't need to do this.
Yeah, come on, Gus.
Coming off Good Will Hunting, like you're a very promising up and comer, and this is what you're going to do with it.
Yeah, apparently.
Oh,
fucking hell. Of course, I want to talk about the 82nd Academy Awards, but I'm having a hard time here because it's all 6 nominations are like heavy categories, heavy hitters. And I don't know, where should we start? Should we start with like because there's three acting nominations, and then there's screenplay, directing, picture. I want to end with Best Picture, but
yeah.
Should we start with the performances first and get those out of the way? And then, I don't know.
I always like to just take IMDb and start at the bottom. I think that's usually, that's the way I always do it.
Okay. So screenplay.
Yeah. Adapted screenplay. District 9, An Education, In the Loop, Up in the Air, and the winner, Precious. I have not seen Precious or An Education. But let's see. Up in the Air, I think, maybe. I think this film's really witty. I think the dialogue is, insightful, smart, memorable. I think the screenplay is solid. I think they should have taken it. But then again, haven't seen 2 of these.
Yeah, well, I've seen all of them. It's been a minute for a few of them. An Education, you got to see. Carey Mulligan is fucking unreal in that movie. You got to check that out. I know you're a big fan of hers. Precious is just tough as nails.
That's what I've heard. It's not. I'm not exactly clamoring to watch it because I know it's going to be just depressing as fuck.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think it's a very worth your time. You know, it will like rock you. You know, you have to be ready for it. Definitely. I'd give it to Up in the Air. I think Up in the Air does what I always want. A screenplay, especially an adapted screenplay that's kind of taking its liberties with the book to kind of change it to this current setting. This is from 2001 to 2008, 2009. And I think it does a really good job of taking those liberties and making it more applicable to the setting that it's in. And it's like pretty fucking funny. It's like gut wrenching at times. And it's very insightful about the setting, about the time, about the crisis, and about what was going on in America and how people were getting laid off left and right. I just really like when a movie does that, like captures something specific. But this is a good group. This is a good group. You know, District 9's a strong film. And The Loop is, you know, one that you got to talk about at length earlier. And again, an education. Put that on your list, man. Carey Mulligan's worth your time on that one.
I will keep that in mind. For sure. This is one year where I'm missing some big ones, which is unfortunate. I've just never really sat down and bothered. I'm gonna have to rectify that.
There you go. This show always does that for both of us. We're like, I might as well knock those out.
Yeah, might as well. Best director: James Cameron for Avatar, Quentin Tarantino for Inglourious Bastards, Lee Daniels for Precious, Jason Reitman for Up in the Air, and the winner, Catherine Bigelow for The Hurt Locker, becoming the first woman to ever win Best Director. And no longer the only. Congratulations, Chloe Zhao.
Fuck you, James Cameron. Suck a dick.
Yeah. That should have just been her whole speech.
Yeah. She just go up there, just fucking flick everybody off. Yeah. Bigelow is a goddamn, she deserves this shit. I mean, Tarantino puts in a fucking unbelievable directorial performance in Bastards. Hurt Locker, holy shit. She directs the piss out of that movie. Sometimes I don't think Hurt Locker has any business being anywhere near as good as it is. And she's just like that good. She's that good at cuts and making those key decisions to make a movie turn. And The Hurt Locker is to me like it just deserves this stuff. It does, you know, it's not my favorite movie from the year, you know, obviously it's not my top 5 or anything, but I respect the fucking shit out of it.
See, I haven't watched it yet. I bought it and I just haven't, but I got to sit down and watch The Hurt Locker.
Dude,
I know
it's got some amazing scenes where you're like, who is in the chair? Like this is awesome. Lee Daniels, Reitman, Tarantino, Cameron, and Bigelow. Like, holy hell, what a cool group.
I do think it just would have been really cool if she went up there and was like, you know, I'm the queen of the world or some shit like that. Just mocked him.
Yeah.
But she's bigger than that.
You've seen other Bigelow stuff though, right? You know, like fucking Near Dark.
I've seen Near Dark, Point Break, Zero Dark 30, and Detroit. So I'm not entirely unversed. Detroit's an experience. Good God. She directed the shit out of that one too. I liked it, but I never want to watch that movie again.
It's infuriating, like infuriating. And Point Break, there's a couple like runs in that movie that you can't believe what you're seeing. You're like, holy shit, man. I don't love that movie, but I kind of do.
In the wrong hands, Point Break could have been absolutely disastrous. But
exactly.
Bigelow just makes that movie work. I don't know what it is. It's the perfect blend of cheese and perfectly executed action. It just works. Yeah. And it's a fun ass movie. It's hard to not just enjoy that thing. I don't understand.
One of these days we should just have a fucking Catherine Bigelow episode, you know, and just talk about all of her fucking movies, whether they're Oscar nominated or not. She's so good. I love her. This is tough though. I'm guessing, you know, Tarantino would get your vote, right?
I'm not going to give a vote because I have not seen The Hurt Locker, and from what I understand, she deserved this wholeheartedly, and I don't want to take it away from her since I haven't seen the film.
Well, I'll tell you what, James Cameron should not be there.
He fucking no way should he be there.
Yeah, Avatar. Ooh, boy, not my bag.
Yeah, I'll never understand the hype behind that movie, how that became like the biggest movie of all time, but is completely absent from any pop culture significance.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, I think, throw the Coens in there for A Serious Man or Neil Blomkamp for District 9.
There you go.
Yeah. Boom. Best Supporting Actress.
We got 2 in this category.
Indeed. Penelope Cruz for 9. Vera Farmiga for Up in the Air. Maggie Gyllenhaal for Crazy Heart. Anna Kendrick for Up in the Air. And the winner, Monique for Precious. Oof. All right. Apart from Up in the Air, I haven't seen these 3 films.
You haven't seen Crazy Heart?
I haven't. I just
dude.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
Crazy Heart's really good. This is Monique's though. This is Monique's through and through. She's like, it's like, when Viola Davis just kind of like steals stuff and you're like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Or when like Cate Blanchett shows up in something, you're like, oh yeah, she's the best person in the whole fucking movie. Monique does that. She does that kind of stuff in this movie. And she's the person you cannot get out of your head. You cannot forget the stuff she says, the dialogue she's given, and the facial expressions. She's fucking off her rocker, that movie. So good. Maggie Gyllenhaal though, Crazy Heart. That would be my second pick. Have not seen 9. Penelope Cruz is unbelievable performer and has a really unique filmography. I would love to see that movie. But God, Crazy Heart. That might need to go at the top of your watch list. I mean, it's Bridges. It's his
win.
It's his gold. Yeah,
I know it feels incomplete. I don't know. I went into this specific episode knowing I was going to catch a lot of shit when we got to this point.
I didn't know that. I had no idea you hadn't seen Crazy Heart. Crazy Heart is like, it's like Jeff Bridges' fucking love letter, to like so many things. He's just, because he always wanted to play music before acting. He always wanted to be a musician. He always wanted to be a singer-songwriter. He never really got to do that. So he's better at acting. It paid the bills. It made more sense for him. But he always was like, this is what I want to do. So him being able to do both and win for it is like is pure gold. God, that movie's fucking moving. And I think Maggie's the only one who can kind of rival Monique for the best supporting actress.
Yeah. Well, I'll take your word for that. I got to see these movies.
The two that I would say so far, Crazy Heart and An Education, because I know how big of a fan you are of Carey Mulligan, and she oh boy, she can perform. Jesus, I've never
had an actress completely win me over like as a fan with one movie before. And that was so Lights Out.
It's time. It's time to see what else is before. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I got work to do. Best actor: George Clooney for Up in the Air, Colin Firth for A Single Man, Morgan Freeman for Invictus, Jeremy Renner for The Hurt Locker, and the winner, Jeff Bridges, Crazy Heart. Oh boy.
What a group. Holy hell.
All right. So I have seen A Single Man. Very touching, underrated movie. Firth is amazing in that movie.
Colin Firth's underrated. In the big scheme of things, he's underrated.
Oh yeah, big time. Have not seen Invictus. It's what I've heard. I've heard it's not really,
It's whatever. I don't know. It's one of Eastwood's kind of like out of touch. Like, what? Okay. Cool. And I'm not really a fan of what Matt Damon's doing in that movie. His accent's just doesn't, I don't buy it. The South African accent, I don't buy it.
It's a tough one. I mean,
it is.
You got Charlton Copley over here, who is South African. Maybe give it to him. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. From what I hear, I've heard like, I know, like from you, I think you told me, Bridges earned this one, but I've heard some people say this was a career Oscar, that he should have gotten it for like Lebowski, really. But
yeah.
But I'll judge it for myself because I'm a massive Jeff Bridges fan and I will see everything eventually. Otis
Bad Blake does not. there's no way I can ever accept. I'm usually in that camp of like, oh, they give it to him later on. He probably should have gone for all this other stuff. And that might be true. But that doesn't mean he shouldn't get the gold later on if he deserves it. Kind of like Al Pacino in Scent of a Woman. It's like, well, but he did a pretty fucking good job. So like, it's okay. Just because he didn't win it for Godfather and Serpico and, Dog Day Afternoon, he's still really good in this other one 20 years later. Yeah. And I think that about Bridges. Well, yeah, he's like lights out from Last Picture Show on for fucking 50 years. He still is amazing and Crazy Heart. I think Clooney's really good. I'm with you. Firth is really good. Renner's really good. But if I have a vote inside these five, there's no question I'm giving it to Bridges. But where on earth is Mr. Brad Pitt as Aldo Rain? Where on earth? How the fuck is he not in this group?
I was just about to say that. Yeah. Brad Pitt delivers I think, I love his performance in Inglourious Basterds. It's constantly flipping between that and Hollywood for me, but Aldo is something special. Just
Moneyball. He's so good in Moneyball. Oh my God.
Billy Bean. Can't forget that. Oh, Jesus.
He just gets to play like himself, but it's perfect. It's perfect.
It's a better work. Nah, I'm just kidding. So great. But yeah, Aldo is such a great hero. He's such a heroic, noble character. And I love the bits you get of his backstory. I love the lynching rope scar on his neck that tells you exactly why he hates people like this. Like, it's just, he deserved to be here.
Yeah. I would take Morgan Freeman out. I love Morgan Freeman. Love his catalog, but not this particular role as Nelson Mandela. I think you got to have Aldo in there. He's like one of the best characters of the century. So you should probably have that there. And it's not for a lack of respecting the movie. It's up for Best Picture. It's up for Best Director. Christoph Waltz won.
Yep.
So I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Melanie Laurent should have been up for Best Supporting Actress as well. Like,
that's a good
there
call.
should be more acting nominations from that movie.
I'm totally on board with that one. Yeah, and I also when I talked about Serious Man, like Michael Stuhlbarg, I think is putting in a Best Actor kind of performance in that movie. That gets hard because then I don't know who I take out. Maybe Jeremy Renner. I don't know. That's really hard.
Yeah, I gotta watch the fucking Hurt Locker.
You've probably also been waiting to do it on this show because it'll be a Best Picture showdown at some point. So it's kind of like, when are we going to do it? Yeah,
it's true. I mean, there's a lot of movies I've just been holding on to for first reactions on this show, but maybe I just gotta, make it the second reaction and just get this over with.
Yeah, and it's not. Yeah, it won't be really getting it over with. It's up your alley. It really is. You'll dig it a lot.
Yeah, I know. It's not like Henry V. Like, this is something I want to see that I've been wanting to watch. And
it's no Blind Side. Yeah.
I haven't seen that either. I gotta watch that.
You don't need to. That's the worst thing about this ceremony is definitely Brad Pitt not being there and Sandra Bullock winning for that. Just train wreck to me. That movie is a goddamn train wreck, and I really don't get it. It should have been Carey Mulligan, I think, from what I've seen. I also actually really like Meryl Streep's performance in Julie and Julia. I know she has like fucking 25 nominations, but she's actually really good in it. I just don't think Sandra Bullock is doing anything like worthwhile. It's not something that's aged well at all. The movie's basically a whole lie, so I just don't like it.
Damn. No, well, now I have to see it.
Yeah. Just look up what it's about Michael Orr, the football player. Look up what he has to say about it, and you'll be like, oh, yikes.
Well, that's a great transition into Best Picture.
Yep.
Avatar, The Blind Side, District 9, and Education, Inglourious Basterds, Precious, A Serious Man, Up in the Air, and The Hurt Locker wins. Love to see Up there.
It's one of 3 animated movies. Yeah. Beauty and the Beast, this, and Toy Story 3. Yeah. The only animated movies to be up for Best Picture. Up is awesome. One of the most catastrophic endings that we've ever seen in a Pixar movie.
It's really hard to watch. Like, it's an emotional roller coaster.
Difficult.
Yeah, fantastic movie though. This was the first year where they made it more than 5 nominees, and I just don't like that. Avatar does not deserve praise like this. From what I hear, some of these other films don't as well.
I think what would be really cool is with these later years, I know we like to rank them all, but what would be fun is if we made cuts to where it was like, these are the 5 that should be in.
That's fucking brilliant. That's what we should do.
So you watch all the movies and you're like, okay, I take out, you got Hurt Locker, let's keep it. Avatar, let's take it out. Blindside, let's take it out. District 9, maybe. Education, maybe. Bastards, keep. Precious, maybe. Serious Man, keep. Up in the air. And then you're like, oh, fuck, we got to make cuts. That'd be fun.
That would be really fun. I love that idea. That'd be great. So Best Picture, The Hurt Locker?
Bastards.
Yeah.
Bastards, Hurt Locker, A Serious Man. One of those 3.
Okay. Yeah. If any Tarantino film was going to win Best Picture, it would have been this one. And
Yep. Yeah, and then of course, when Once Upon a Time in Hollywood comes out, this fucker Bong Joon-ho had to make a fucking masterpiece and just take everybody's hearts. And I agree with it. I think Parasite is a better overall movie. And sorry, Quentin. and Django is not for everybody, right? It's pretty wild, and that finale is pretty fucking jarring. And I like it a lot more than Argo, but I don't know. It's hard to look at Django as like, yeah, that's a Best Picture winner. It is very good though.
I don't think it's that hard. I love Django to fucking death. That movie is brilliant and a win for. I'm glad he won screenplay, but
yeah,
a picture win for that would have been beautiful.
Yeah, would have been pretty cool. I agree. And Hateful Eight's not beating Spotlight, so I'm okay with that. I love Spotlight. Love it.
Sweet. All right, Up in the Air. Let's knock this out.
Yeah, Up in the Air. These awards were fun to kind of come up with in my rewatch of this. I've probably seen it 4 or 5 times now over the past. I can't remember the first time I saw it. I remember watching it really randomly back in maybe 2013, 2014, somewhere in there, where I was just kind of like, oh, this seems like a movie I would dig. It's kind of in that same family as like Little Miss Sunshine, where it's like, oh, this might teach me something and make me laugh. And I think that's exactly what it does. And it gets better and better every time. So if you've been with us before, you know exactly what we're doing here. We got the Tarantino Award. Tarantino keeps coming up for best quote or best line, however you want to see it. We've got the Ennio Morricone Award for best music moment, best needle drop moment, whatever you want it to be involving music. You got the Philip Seymour Hoffman Award for the best performance of the movie. And then finally, we have the Roger Deakins Award for our favorite scene of the whole movie. So I'll let you take it away with your Tarantino.
I have 3.
Yeah, it's a good screenplay.
2 small lines and then 1 big monologue that I just adored. So first up, it's early on when Ryan's on the flight, just kind of, going through the motions, and he gets a Coke, and the lady asked him, "Do you want the cancer?"
Yeah.
And he's like, do I want the cancer? And she's like, "Do you want the can, sir?" He's like, "Oh no."
So good.
It's odd, but like, yeah, I love that he's got death on the mind. He's in a life of constant, endings. So why wouldn't that just be on his mind? Made sense to me.
Yeah, when it's a good little kind of plot device to kind of show that this guy's been on a lot of fucking planes and he sees a lot of those ladies, the stewards coming by, to give him a drink or whatever, and I'm sure he's heard all kinds of stuff.
One of my favorite little moments is when he opens his fridge in his apartment and it's all condiments and little alcohol bottles.
Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. My second line is when he's going into the hotel with Anna Kendrick's character, Natalie. And her boyfriend just broke up with her on text and he doesn't realize that. And he starts talking about like how we all die alone. And he says, "Starting when I was 12, we moved each one of my grandparents into a nursing facility. My parents went the same way. Make no mistake, we all die alone. Now, those cult members in San Diego with the sneakers and the Kool-Aid, they didn't die alone. I'm just saying there are options. And then she starts crying and he doesn't know how to handle that.
Perfect.
Great. The worst thing you could say, the worst thing you could say to somebody who just got dumped. We all die text.
Alone. Yeah.
Join a cult. And then my third one is just real simple. It's after he gets the 10 million mile like super card, and Sam Elliott just turns to him and says, you know, we really appreciate your loyalty.
Yeah. Oh man.
And he's just broken. He doesn't have anything left to live for, really. Everything he thought he knew has been spun out of control. This is the moment he's been waiting for, and he has nothing to say. Like, how unfortunate.
Yeah. I love that. I love that when Ryan Bingham is like, you know, I've imagined this moment over and over and over, and I've gone over what I was going to say and what you were going to say and how the conversation was going to go. And he's like, I kind of forgot what I was going to say. And that is so surreal when you get to like a certain place in life that you think, oh, I've made it. When really it's just like, the world keeps moving, doesn't stop for you. You just,
what did you lose to get here?
Yeah. Oof. Hours upon hours and planes, which I just you know, as a character and as a job, I could not handle that. Oh my Lord. He talks about at the beginning where he's like, I'm traveling 320 whatever days of the year, so I spend 40 miserable days at home. I'm like, oh my God, I love being at home.
You know what? This movie speaks to me on a different level, because I was laid off once at my old job, and I got a phone call, and that's how I found out. Like, they called me. It was like, hey, your job is no longer necessary. We're gonna let you go. And I'm like, oh, okay. It was just like, it's cold how people do that. There's never the boss never wants to tell you to your face. They never want to be the bad guy. And they just, you know, they outsource it, or they call you, or they email you and try to take all the personal connection out of it. And it's fucking cold. And yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I think you can watch a movie and then something happens to you, and then you watch the movie again and you're like, oh, how about that? I get that part of the screenplay. Crazy. I've been fired, but kind of because it was my fault. So you know, it wasn't anything. Yeah, it was when I was really young and being stupid and just not showing up. You know, not having good attendance. So that's on me.
I was good at my job, and they didn't fucking care. So fuck them.
And that's a lot of people in this movie, right? Is like, what the fuck? I've been here for 30 years. Good stuff. Those are great picks. This is a really good screenplay. There's lots of just little bits, little spurts, like you mentioned, the cancer, you know, cancer. Really good, really clever. I chose for my Tarantino. I chose at the very beginning of the movie. First off, there's a great. I'm not going to say it out loud, but there's a great song that plays at the beginning of the movie, because it might be. I don't know if it's in your Ennio or not. It's just really cool touch. You know, we got kind of like a montage of different places around the U.S. and then we jump right in. You know, we jump right into what Ryan Bingham does, and you have Zach Galifianakis's character who's like about to cry, and he says, "Who the fuck are you, man?" and then Ryan Bingham is narrating, and he says, "Excellent question. Who the fuck am I? Poor Steve has worked here for 7 years. He's never had a meeting with me before, or passed me in the hall, or told me a story in the break room. And that's because I don't work here. I work for another company that lends me out to pussies like Steve's boss, who don't have the balls to sack their own employees. And in some cases, for good reason, because people do crazy shit when they get fired."
What a fantastic introduction.
You're like, you can't help. You're like, I'm glued. I don't really care what happens next. I'm in. Clooney's voice, some of the language that's here, it's very choosy with the way it's saying things, and saying, lends me out to pussies like Steve's boss. Like, yes, like, sign me up. That's such a great way to kind of lure you into the story you're about to watch, and how it's probably going to be dark and sad, but you're like, this is kind of funny. Honestly, I'm going to say it. It's very Cohen-y, and I respect the hell out of Reitman's kind of style with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure, Clooney had some input having worked with the Coen brothers. I'm sure he came in and was like, well, why don't we do it like this?
Yeah. Let me talk. Oh, I love it, man. All right. You're Ennio. I hope I didn't want to step on your toes, but that beginning song is so cool. I've been listening to it all day.
It is cool. It is not my Ennio.
It's not mine either, obviously.
Mine is just funny because of juxtaposition. It's young MC playing at the super white bread tech conference. Just him coming out and being like, how's it going? Random software company tech conference. And everyone's like,
ooh, let's go. Yeah, I
like,
love that scene.
This is so sad.
It's very sad. Yeah.
This is his check of the month. And it's just so like, this is not the right crowd, but everyone's like freaking out because they're all drunk as fuck. And it's just hilarious.
Yeah, and they're all drunk as fuck because they're all miserable.
Well, I love when they walk into the conference. Fucking OPP by Naughty by Nature is
playing.
Yeah,
you know me. Yeah. And then Good Times plays. Yeah, it's such a good little like just transition of music right there. That's a great pick.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
God, I love that whole bit because you can see that they're like, we know this is lame, but Anna Kendrick, she's having a blast. She's like getting wasted and having fun. It's doing karaoke, and you're like, hey, who gives a shit? The song I'm referring to at the beginning is "This Land Is Your Land," but it's a really cool rendition. It's by Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings. Fucking awesome! Like I love that bit.
Have you heard their cover of Midnight Rider?
Oh yeah, I've been listening to them since I saw this movie for the first time. I was like, who is that? What is that voice? And let me get more of that because it's such a cool cover of that song. Very cool. But I had to stick with my heart here. The Black Keys are one of my favorite bands of this century, and Dan Auerbach is one of my favorite frontmen. I love his mind. I love his attitude towards music. I love his stuff with the keys. I love his solo stuff. And in this movie, there's kind of a montage of them going to different cities and firing people, and it's really fucking sad. And Going Home by Dan Auerbach off Keep It Hid is playing, and it's such a gorgeous song. And I've listened to that song, that one, and The Breaks by the Black Keys. I've listened to those two songs in moments where I'm like really lost and really confused about like what's going on around me, and they always pull me back in. They always like pull me back to it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be in your emotions, and to put that in a movie, I'm kind of a sucker for that kind of stuff. And Auerbach's voice is like one of my very favorites. I love that guy to death. His attitude, the stuff he knows about, his knowledge with music is just really cool. I've listened to him on a few podcasts, and I just love that guy. He's fucking cool. Just him and Patrick Carney are just fucking cool.
Great pick, man. Yeah, you know how much I love the Black Keys.
They're awesome. Yeah,
I've seen them in concert twice. Just fantastic. Yeah. I love the Breaks is such a great song. Yeah, well done. That was one of my first shows. Was where like I was going and I spent my own money. I was 17 and it was 2012, and I saw the Black Keys and the Arctic Monkeys in Austin at the Frank Irwin Center, and it kind of altered my. I was like, oh man, I was into the Black Keys and the Arctic Monkeys, but now I'm really into the Black Keys and Arctic Monkeys, and I haven't really looked back, And Dan Auerbach's got some great solo stuff. That guy fucking rips. I love him. Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, that would have been I saw him with at the Frank Irwin Center a couple of years later with St. Vincent.
I like St. Vincent. Fuck yeah.
They're not bad. Live, they're not great.
They're not the Arctic Monkeys, but
no. And then the second time,
Arctic Monkeys are cool.
The second time they were with Modest Mouse.
Oh, I love Modest Mouse. That's cool as shit. I'm a big fan.
I would have much rather seen the Arctic Monkeys.
Me too. I like the Arctic Monkeys just as much as the Black Keys, if not more. I fucking love their discography. Like they're like one of the only like proper rock bands, that are really popular. And
Oh yeah.
And I adore them. I think Alex Turner is just a fucking like revelation for rock music. And they're great. I could talk about that stuff all day. You know, I like movies, but music is so important.
Fuck yeah, man. Cool. So
PSH.
Clooney.
Yeah, gotta be.
Clooney. Yep.
Gotta be Clooney. It's one of my favorite performances of his whole career. Maybe my favorite. I don't know. I'd have to really kind of rewatch some stuff and kind of watch some stuff I haven't seen before and narrow that down. But off the top of my head, you know, I'd say this and Michael Clayton. He's so funny in this movie without even trying. And the stuff he does when he's doing the backpack stuff, shit cracks me up. It's so funny because you're like Clooney. You feel like this guy Clooney might be like that in real life.
I love when he's at the wedding and Danny McBride has cold feet and they call him in to talk him off the ledge. And he's like, I give anti-commitment speeches. And they're like, that's a fucked up message. He's like, yeah, but it's mine.
So good. Yeah. He's put, you know, start with the little things, the knickknacks, you know, and then move on to the lamps, the couches, your bed. He's like, it's getting kind of heavy, isn't it? It's like, yeah, because you're scared of everything, you fucker.
That's fantastic. Yeah, this is a great character study.
Yeah, it really is, you know. Yeah, Up in the Air is awesome. Ryan Bingham, great character.
Well done, Clooney.
He's going to come up, you know, undoubtedly just because of his resume. But this is the first time we've really got to talk about him. And, you know, I think at the top of the show, I was hard on him, you know. I'm going to stand by, I don't think he's on par with some of the other like superstars, but he's damn good. And he's damn good in this movie. And this is kind of one of those kind of career type performances where you're like, okay, yeah, this is at the top of his, you know, pantheon. The Roger Deakins, your favorite scene. I can't wait to hear what you got.
Oh, it's not so much my favorite scene because it fucking hurts, but it's the best scene of the movie as far as I'm concerned. And it's the exact opposite of how this movie should end, because it's not a Hollywood rom-com. It's Ryan Bingham going to Alex's apartment, expecting, you know, her to, you know, sweep her off her feet, and then finding out she has a family he never told her about. And then her later calling him and treating him like the bad guy for, you know, bothering to show up at her house. Like, you could have really ruined things for me. Like, that whole bit of just how devastated and emotionally permanently broken he is from that. The one time he let his guard down and it destroys him. Fuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and then on top of all that, he leaves like this huge occasion where he's like the main speaker. He leaves that, and that's going to leave a bad taste in a lot of people's mouth. And he's thinking, well, who gives a shit? I'm probably going to live in Chicago now. You know, he's like, I'll do he doesn't have anything. He literally just has his luggage and what he's wearing. So he's like, I don't care. I'll go to Chicago. Sure. Sounds good. But like all of that just gets flipped upside down. And he's like, oh, I have to go back and kind of face those people. Shit. And Jason Bateman's like, hey buddy, we need you back on the road. You're like, oh my God.
And he can't even enjoy that anymore. The one thing that gave his life meaning was not having any meaning. And he can't have that anymore. He's gotten a taste of what love feels like. And it'll never be the same again. It's incredibly apocalyptic. It's wild, man. I've never seen a movie end on such a sour note before. Damn.
Yeah. Fucking rough. Yeah. The ending is it's like a perfect landing.
Yeah.
And it rides from him leaving the conference to like making the decision to get on the plane and go see her like unannounced. And then Jason Bateman coming into his office like, hey, actually, we're not going to do all that stuff we talked about. And then Anna Kendrick goes to San Francisco to get the other job. And at least Ryan Bingham wrote that really cool recommendation for her. You know, like that was big. That was really cool. And I love that part of the movie. I love that they show that. And the guy says, I hope he's not wrong. And puts his hand out. That's a really, really good scene. I almost chose like that run same as you. But I can't get over the scene with J.K. Simmons. It's like 30 minutes into the movie, and it just puts you on your ass because you've seen a lot of people and a lot of these non-actors who are like, well, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And they have these like quick responses, but then we get JK and he's holding up his wallet with his two kids, the pictures of his two kids. And in that scene when he's like, I make $90,000 a year, and what is unemployment? $250 fucking dollars a week. He's like, what am I going to do? And then I'm not going to be able to pay for insurance, and then this and then that. He stacks up on the realities of getting fired, the realities of setting something up, setting up a mortgage, setting up insurance, setting up stuff for your kids, and all that you have to explain to them is gone. He's like, where the fuck does that leave me? And then Clooney does that thing where he's like, I actually read people and I actually try to do my research. And he figures out that at one point he went to French culinary school, and he's like, well, like, what did they give you to give up on your dreams? And he says $27,000 a year. Fuck me, dude.
I love that line so much. I almost picked that for my Tarantino, but I had so many. I'm like, I'm overloading here. Just how much did they pay you to give up on your dreams? Like, we all, the older we get, the more we have to think about that. Like, our dreams start getting farther and farther away. And we got to think like, am I going to be realistic here? And it's a fucking drag. But
yeah. And Clooney takes that drag and he's like, look, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to like, not only do you want to do this, you've always wanted to do this, be some sort of chef, like show your kids that doing what you want, that should be their hero. And like, as maybe Brian Bingham's just like, this is just what I got to do so this guy won't jump off of a bridge. He fucking convinces him like to smile and like give it a chance. And then J.K. Simmons, like his facial expression is just unbelievably good in that scene. He's so good in that scene. Like he does that stuff in movies where you're like, give him a supporting actor nomination for being in it for 5 fucking minutes. It's that good of a scene. I rewatched that scene a lot. I'll just put it on. Don't even need to watch the whole movie. It's just one of those bits where I'm like, man, that's just a good bit of dialogue, good screenplay, good performances, and great kind of inspiration for someone who's like weighing the options of, I can make, decent salary here, or I can make a little bit less doing what like really drives me and what really makes me want to like get up and get up and breathe. And that's cool. I like when a movie does that.
When I got laid off from my job, it finally convinced me to go back to school to, be a teacher, which is what I've always wanted to do. And so there is something to that, when you lose something, maybe take that as an opportunity to be like, well, what do I want? You need that, at the very least in life, you should be happy.
Yeah, straight up. And it's very hard for a lot of people to attain.
Yeah.
God, man,
this is a good movie.
It's a great movie. Great movie. I don't own this one. I don't really know why. I need to buy it. I should own it. Should be on my shelf. I think right now it's on HBO Max, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's how I watched it. I think it's also on Hulu right now. I think it's on a couple streaming services. But yeah, check it out. I mean, rewatch it. Whatever you got to do. It's a good one. I think it's aged well. And it's again, when you do something inside of a time frame like 2008, 2009, when America was going through something really tough. Seemingly, it seems like we've been going through something really tough every year, but this one's really easy to pinpoint and figure out what it was. This housing crisis, the market just crashing and people getting fired all over the place. It's good to have kind of like bits of art to kind of attach to those moments in time. So really cool stuff, man. This is fun. This is a great episode. Love doing the top fives. Love talking about these people in this movie. Love talking about, Bastards and Hurt Locker and Up and like all these movies that make the ceremony, and love giving awards out. I think this one's really worthwhile, and I want to do more movies like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to point out that I do own this one. I did go out and buy this because I wanted it. I knew I was going to watch this again. and it's a solid 9 for me. Beautiful movie.
Hell yeah, man. Good stuff. Love it. Next week is going to be a change of pace. Next week, there is a movie that I think is very anticipated by a lot of people, especially kind of award circuit people, and that's House of Gucci, starring Adam Driver and Lady Gaga, bunch of goddamn people, directed by Ridley Scott. He's already had The Last Duel come out this year, but this is the one I think that's going to like make a splash at the box office, and make a splash at the Oscars, a bunch of different BAFTAs. It's going to make a splash during award season, and it's time to do a Ridley Scott movie that you haven't seen, so you can knock it off the goddamn list. There's a few to choose from. Movies that we've brought up on here. We could do Thelma and Louise. We've talked about that movie on here. You could do The Martian, but we're gonna do Black Hawk Down from 2001, which hit its 20-year anniversary this year. So it's gonna be some fun. I haven't seen it in a while, so I'm really excited to rewatch it. So hopefully you guys come on back and check it out. I'm gonna see if it's on something right now. Black Hawk Down. I own it, so I kind of forget. It's on HBO Max right now. So if you want to watch that this week, you watch some Ridley Scott stuff and come back and we'll be talking about it. It's like a 2.5 hour fucking epic. So I'm excited. Much different than Up in the Air.
Yeah. I bought this on the half price books clearance shelf for $1, knowing like in anticipation of this episode. So I'm all set.
Hell yeah, man. I'm excited. We may do some sort of, I don't know, top 5 Ridley Scott's really hard. He's got a lot of movies. We could do that though. We could do, I don't know. We can kind of play with it. We've already done 2001. So, we did that for Mulholland Drive and that was a lot of fun. We'll figure something out to do for fun to open that show up. Cause it's going to be a bit heavier,
Yeah.
Black Hawk Down's not like a easy watch. So, but I'm excited to give it another go. It's been a while for me. So what else do we have? I know tomorrow is Ghostbusters, the new, Jason Reitman, shout out. What's on Filmgazm?
Oh, this week's Filmgazm is going to be fucking weird. Josh is hosting once again to bring me something strange from the bowels of horror that I've never even heard of. It's a 1982 alien movie called Extra. I know nothing about it. I haven't watched it yet. It's there's a cut of it available on YouTube, and Josh is going to be leading that one. So it's going to be a change of pace. It's going to be fucking odd. So tune in Wednesday for that. And of course, Ghostbusters tomorrow.
Awesome, man. Gonna be a good week.
Mm-hmm. Kick ass. Well, with that, we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Signing off on Oscar Sunday. This is another great one, man. I had a blast.